Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Joe and you are watching Shooting Gallery. Today we have the final video of the safety beaver build. This is something I've been working on since last year. Big shout out to a lot of the companies. We're going to check them out, especially Bear Creek Arsenal, Brown Owls, all of those people. Let's check it out. Now, before we get into the video, I just want to make this perfectly clear. We have followed all safety precautions. All guns were safety checked before we were handling them, as well as we were wearing our eyes, ears, and there was an RSO present on the range during the firing sessions of this firearm. So let's get into the video. Alright guys, so I've been very excited to make this video for a long time. It is taking a little bit just because I was waiting on parts, waiting on ammo, getting everything all squared away. Now, before we get into it, first let's make sure this gun is clear, which it is. No magazine in the gun, and let's see if we can... There we go. It is safe. Now, I'm leaving this in. Bear Creek Arsenal last year came out with their bolt action uppers that are able to go on AR-15 lowers. Now, Bear Creek Arsenal has been very good to me ever since I started working with them. This is not a complete Bear Creek Arsenal upper, just want to make this perfectly clear. I reached out to them and told them the idea of a build I wanted to do. And they sent me the upper, the bolt carrier, and the gas block. Because since this is a bolt action, it does not require a gas tube because it's manually operated. I understand just from watching that, people are going to say this gun is a piece of crap. It is not. Let's go over the full build, what this is. It is a 7.5 inch, 300 blackout AR-15 bolt action. The barrel is a Faxon 7.5 inch gunner profile barrel with threaded 5/8 by 24. The receiver we're using is a Safety Harbor Firearms SHF 15 lower. We have a Rise Armament parts kit. We have all decked out in Die-Free Co. pistol grip. So we got the Die-Free Co. Tiger Kung Fu grip, the Tiger Claw, and we got the DOS boot, which is a +2 extension monopod for your magazine. We're rocking 20 round P mags that are 300 blackout specific. We have an SB Tactical Triangle side folding brace. So this is a side folder because it's a bolt action. It doesn't require a buffer tube. And this thing, everything is tight on this gun. And it's the one thing I will say, out of all the builds I've done, this is the one that has fought me tooth and nail, but it works if you haven't seen the shooting footage. We have JP Rifle enhanced AR-15 springs in here, so it's going to lower the weight of it. We have a Midwest Industries SP rail, which allows me to have the suppressor, which is my anechoic 30L flow-through titanium suppressor, go underneath the rail. We got some Magpul rubber M-LOK rail covers, as well as we have a QD sling on here, and we're topping it all off with the Romeo and Juliet magnifier combo. Dear Lord, that was a lot. get into some philosophy of use here, real nut and fancy stuff. Why would someone want to have a bolt-action AR-15? Well, I'll tell you. The bolt-action upper is essentially 50 state legal. Now, there is some legalities depending on the state for the lower receiver. I always thought having a bolt-action AR-15 and 300 blackout might be particularly well for people in not so free states, because you're able to have an AR-15 pistol. For instance, in Massachusetts, you're not allowed to have a newly manufactured AR-15. Yes, there's some workarounds. I get it. We're not getting into the nuance of that. But if you bought, say, a Darkstorm Industries fixed mag lower receiver, which we have actually done a build on the channel. Those were very popular. I've actually taught AR-15 build classes when I worked at Cape Gunworks off those receivers. I know the laws have changed, but in a state like Massachusetts, obviously you can't have a suppressor, but you're able to have a compact, backpackable, stowaway truck gun, utilitarian gun with a side folder, with a fixed, again, this is for a pistol, with a fixed mag. It allows you to have a pistol brace, only if you have a fixed mag. It's very dumb laws up there, and I suggest you guys definitely get with your local 2A groups and fight those tyrannical laws. But with a bolt action, it kind of defeats the purpose of a semi-automatic because you have to manually operate the bolt. I wanted to potentially have a run of this at Safety Harbor Firearms, so I kind of took it upon myself to prototype it. I'm still kind of bullying Walter to see if he'd want to take a go at it, but we still got to work some kinks out, and production is a lot of things that involves tooling stuff up for that. So this was the first thing. I actually have a Safety Beaver laser engraved on this lower. I came up with the idea myself. So that was my idea. Because say you're traveling, you have a bolt action, essentially it's going to be 50 state legal depending on where you are in the country. 20 round mag that gets you in the game. If you're able to carry a suppressor with you in your travels, depending on where you are, you can have a suppressed 300 blackout that, God forbid, something happens in the world. You have a quiet gun that gets you to home. Whether you need to get food, you can take 300 blackout and take out deer with proper shot placement, pigs, coyotes, medium game, small game. You can get it done with 300 blackout. Also, it's quiet. 220 grain subsonics out of a suppressor. Ooh, perfect. And these things are accurate as all hell, which we're going to get into. Let's see how these supersonics work. All right, a little bit more kick. Whoa. Okay. Alright, so I went to sight this in once I got everything all built and all that stuff. We're going to go into like my pros and cons of this build so far using the parts I have. All the parts of this gun minus the receiver set. Obviously the upper was from Bear Creek Arsenal and the lower was from Safety Harbor Firearms. But everything was purchased at Brownells. You guys know I love buying all my stuff from them, so please do me a favor. If you are in need of getting some parts or tools, it's a good place to go to get some gunsmithing tools or stuff you might need. Who knows? So I started off, I'm mostly going to be running this gun with 220 grain subsonics. Had some S&B still saved up, and I had some Winchester Super Subsonic, whatever their brand is. It's like Winchester Super X. that was okay. So I set it in with this 25 yards at my local gun range. I didn't need to adjust anything for 300 blackout. Didn't need to adjust it at all. It was pretty much dead on. This is the 220 grain S&B subsonic. Very accurate. I liked the performance of it. But also I had a chance to pick up some Fiocchi. I think it was 110 grain. 180 grain to 210 grain. I don't know. It was supersonics. I'd have to look at the box. This is a little bit worse, to be quite honest. This gun is more accurate with subsonics because, granted, it's a 7.5-inch barrel. It has a 1 in 5 fast twist in there, I believe. So it's optimized for 300 blackout subsonics. This is obviously supersonics. It's going to be lighter pills, faster velocity, so it's going to be a little bit more out of the way. But I was still happy with the accuracy out of between the super and subsonics. Supersonics, subsonics. Very accurate. And at the beginning of the video, obviously I had some trouble moving the bolt pack. That is something that we're going to get into in pros and cons. But I only had one malfunction. It was because it was the magazine. The round wasn't fully popped down enough. This thing works properly when you have rounds in the chamber, at least. So that was something I was pleasantly surprised about because I was worried about it. Now, let's get into some pros and cons of this build, the parts I used, and what I think about the build overall. When it comes down to all the parts that I used, I am thoroughly impressed with my Anechoic 30L. I have test fit my CMMG 36K suppressor on here, so it's going to be a different suppressor. I haven't shot it with it yet because I got to change out a couple things on my other AR that it's sitting on right now. I think if I had a shorter suppressor, I've tested it in a backpack. It does fit. I do have to remove the suppressor. This is only on here direct thread. But it is very quiet. I like the way it shoots. The JP rifle springs that you can buy for like, I think 6 tacos. They are phenomenal. I love it. You don't have to spend a full Benjamin Franklin on a drop-in trigger pack to get a little bit better trigger pull. I'm starting to run them in a lot of my guns, and I really enjoy them. I thoroughly love the Dive Rico furniture on here. I'm putting Kung Fu pistol grips on pretty much every AR-15 I own now. I really like the Tiger Claw. It gives me enough to where I can thoroughly rest. It's not a hand stop, it's an angled foregrip. It's an angled grip. And it gives me just enough so when I go to present, I can just kind of do that over the thumb, and I can rest my ring finger on my support hand right there onto the Tiger Claw, and has just enough stippling. Super comfortable. And I like the DOS boot that we added on here as well. It gives you an extra 2 rounds, so I can run 22 plus 1 in here. Having this have a side folder is key, because again, it's easily stowable, and it is kind of what you need. This handguard, phenomenal. I would love to get more handguards. It was a little bit pricey. I wasn't the biggest fan of how much these cost, because to me it's the same as other Midwest Industries handguards, just the diameter, the inside diameter is a little bit bigger to accommodate a suppressor. That's just my personal opinion. I don't understand why handguns are so expensive in the grand scheme of things, but you know, that's neither here nor there. That's just a personal preference. Like I wish it was a little bit cheaper, but they are great handguards, good quality, good feel, and both my suppressors fit through it, which is good. So, you know, that's always a good thing. Like the concept of the magnifier, red dot magnifier. I don't need an LPVO. Saves on weight. I can just flip this to the side and just use the straight red dot if I'm about 100 yards and in. If I want to get a little bit more magnification, flip that to the side. And this is I think it's a 3x, either a 1x or 3x magnifier on here. Works great. I like it. Takes me a little bit because my eyes are a little bit wonky, so when I flip it to the side to use the magnifier, I have to sit there for about 2 seconds for my parallax to kind of work. It's nice. I like it. It's pretty cool. I've been using Rise Armament lower parts kit, so all the parts that I picked out for this build work perfect. Lower receiver, I've built many receivers off of Safety Harbor Firearms SHF 15s, We have some available. So I had to I had to do some modifications to this build, guys. Now, as you saw, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to spend the whole time trying to focus in on getting the bolt back. When you have rounds in the magazine, in the chamber, if you have dummy rounds, if you just want to work the bolt and practice working the bolt, yes. On the Bear Creek Arsenal upper, they are inexpensive. I've used other ones, and it kind of had the similar issue, but not as bad. I talked to my buddy Carolina EDC Reviews. He said just keep working it and shooting it, and that's going to break it in. I had some serious wearing before I even shot the pistol, and I was like, what is going on with this? And I find there's some wear marks. So I work at a gun shop, or I work at a manufacturer that has all the tools. I decided to take a grinder and just kind of give it a little bit more of a radius for it to work. And it does work a lot better when there's rounds in it, so I'm not getting hung up. Now, the only other problem I had is on the back end. The bolt carrier comes from Bear Creek Arsenal. And you can do this because, again, you only need so much room for the hammer to ignite the firing pin that ignites the bullet. Or engage the firing pin, I might say. So when you take this out, the bolt carrier comes out about inch and a half, about a half an inch to an inch. Well, what I did was I marked it where it came out, and I decided to take the bolt out and marked it where it came out of the receiver extension. So it came out again about a half an inch to an inch right there. Chopped it down a little bit more in front because, again, I have a K&S Precision Picatinny rail adapter on the back of this plate. Now, if you pick up the K&S, depending on your receiver, you're going to have to decide if you need one with a flange or without. That only means if your receiver extension takes a traditional detent for the takedown pin, and that's about it. If you have a traditional AR-15 receiver, you're going to need the K&S Precision adapter that has the flange, so it holds the spring and detent in for your rear takedown pin. That was super simple. Loved it. Awesome. So I did it a little bit more, so about 1 3/4 inches. Chopped it off, smoothed it out, radiused it, and smoothed the bolt out. So I was able to have this come in right here, and it's able to close. Another issue I had was the rear lug on the Bear Creek Arsenal. Now, a little bit of file work, and that can fix a lot of this problem. That is one detriment that Bear Creek Arsenal has, is that they say that their quality control is eh. I have not had that many problems. This is the first Bear Creek Arsenal gun, and I have a lot of Bear Creek Arsenal stuff. This is the first time I've had a little bit of work where I had to do it. Now, if I really wanted to, I could send the upper in and have them kind of go through it soup to nuts, but I can do it myself. It's not that big a deal, and this is kind of a prototype gun. The rear lug was not fitting into the receiver. That can determine on the finish of the receiver. This is anodized, so maybe the anodizing is off a few thousandths here or there between the rear receiver lug and the lower receiver. So I just took a file, I draw filed it till it fit, and it worked. All said and done, this is a very inexpensive way to get the ultimate backpack, get home, utilitarian AR-15 pistol that you can pretty much have anywhere. Again, your laws are going to determine, I know there's certain states that you can't have AR-15s, or you have to have a fixed mag lower, or you have to have this. But it being a bolt action, that saves you a ton of heartache for when you're just traveling and you want to have something compact and small that, God forbid, something happens in any situation, you can get home. So as it sits, guys, if I were to rebuild this again, I would. With all the parts I have, even with the issues I had with the Bear Creek Arsenal, yes, they did send me the upper. All right, cool. Bought everything else. And, well, the suppressor was supplied to the channel by Andy Kowick. I would like to pick up another one and build it in something like 223 or maybe like a 350 Legend or something like that, and see if I have the same issue with the receivers. Bear Creek Arsenal is very good to work with because they listen to the consumer and they listen to the people that use their products, especially on the creator side. I could have just had, like, again, I could have sent that in. I'm not I'm a little bit hesitant with Bear Creek Arsenal, but they are like the only company that I know of that makes bolt action AR-15 uppers for like in this configuration. Now, Safety Harbor Firearms makes AR-15 lowers. Makes AR-15 upper compatible guns. The SHTF-50, that can drop right onto an AR-15 lower. That unfortunately needs to have a serial number. That has a long story with it. Do I agree with it? No, it should not require a serial number, but you know, ATF wants to kind of screw with us. For some reason, Bear Creek Arsenal doesn't need to put serial numbers on their upper receivers. I don't understand that. I'm not getting in the weeds with that. The one detriment I will say to this entire gun isn't all the work I had to do with it. It's the bolt handle. I don't like the bolt handle. I would love to see if it came more at a curve to it, which I could use a blowtorch or a acetylene torch, heat this up and bend it a certain way. I just don't like the bolt handle. That's just me, but maybe down the road, Bear Creek Arsenal decides to upgrade their bolts to make it a little bit more slimline or a little bit more, you know, have a little bit more texture, some knurling on the bolt. That's just my personal opinion, but this is a fun gun to shoot, man. I could sew this away in a backpack if I go camping and we get hogs or we get coyotes coming through trying to, you know, marauder us. I have a quick action gun that I can get to, and as long as there's bullets in the magazine and I don't have any issues working it, I got about 100 rounds to it so far, so I'm gonna keep shooting it. But I just wanted to finally get this out to you. This is a cool idea I've had for a while, and I'm super thankful to Bear Creek Arsenal and obviously Safety Harbor, because you know I did buy the receiver from them. Nothing was really donated other than the receiver, guys. I bought everything on here minus the upper and the suppressor I've had for the past year. Love anechoic suppressors. It's a phenomenal can. So we're gonna go ahead and close it out. If you want to ask any questions on this build, or if you have any other questions regarding parts or whatever, please comment down below. If you are a Rumble subscriber, you're getting this video first. They're everybody on Rumble, since we don't have to worry about as much stuff on Rumble. They're getting the video uploaded first. It will obviously be on YouTube. We got to follow the rules, and I'm trying to follow it to a T. So if you haven't done so already, please hit the follow button on either Rumble or YouTube and give us a like, all that good stuff. Love you guys. Stay safe, stay shooting. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.